Stone circles are commonly found across northern Europe, Great Britain, and Ireland. Stone circles were built during the Bronze Age at 2200 to 500 BC. They were often oriented on certain solar and lunar events, such as the position of the sun on the horizon on the solstice. Stone circles are usually grouped in terms of shape and size of the stones. Although many theories have been advanced to explain their use, usually around providing a setting for ceremony or ritual, there is no consensus among archaeologists as to their intended function. Their construction often involved considerable communal effort, including special tasks such as planning, quarrying, transportation, laying the foundation trenches, and final construction. Although widely distributed across the island, the two main concentrations of stone circles in Ireland are in Cork County and County Kerry. The Cork-Kerry circles tend to be irregular in shape, with large stones widely spaced around an axial or center stone. There are approximately 1,300 stone circles in Britain and Ireland. The KENMARE stone circle, the largest one in the southwest region of Ireland, is an example of Bronze Age architecture that comprises 15 heavy boulders. 13 of these stand vertical to the ground, whereas the remaining 2 lay flat. In the center is an impressive boulder dolmen with a giant capstone. Dolmens often mark the burial place of someone important. The weight of the capstone alone is roughly calculated to be around 7 tons. This has led concerned parties to think that a lot of human effort must have been required to bring it to its present location. The KENMARE stone circle is different from others because of its egg-like shape and bigger diameter. Its design is assumed to be a late development in terms of architectural trends prevalent during 2200 to 500 BC. The DROMBEG stone circle, also known as the Druid's Altar, is a small recumbent stone circle in County Cork, Ireland. The structure consists of 17 tightly packed stones. As a Cork-type stone circle, it contains 2 taller entrance portal stones placed opposite a recumbent axial stone. The circle axis is oriented southwest in the direction of the setting sun. The stones in the circle have been shaped to slope upwards to the recumbent stone, the midpoint of which was set in line with a winter solstice sunset viewed in a conspicuous notch in the distant hills. Following a number of archaeological surveys in the early 1900s, the site was excavated and restored in 1957. Radiocarbon dating of samples taken from the site suggests that it was active from 1100 to 800 BC. An inverted pot found by archaeologists in the center of the circle contained the cremated remains of a young adolescent wrapped with thick cloth. Drombeg is one of the most visited megalithic sites in Ireland and is protected under the National Monuments Act. The DROMAGORTEEN stone circle is located in the Bonan Heritage Park near KENMARE, County Kerry. Irish round towers are early medieval stone towers of a type found mainly in Ireland. Generally found in the vicinity of a church or monastery, the door of the tower faces the west doorway of the church. In this way, it has been possible to determine without excavation the approximate site of lost churches where the tower still exists. The towers were probably built between the 9th and the 12th centuries. In Ireland, about 120 examples are thought once to have existed. Most are in ruins, while 18 to 20 are almost perfect. With 5 towers each, County Mayo, County Kilkenny, and County Kildare have the most towers still standing. The Round Tower seems to be the only significant stone building in Ireland before the advent of the Normans in AD 1169 to 1171. The Glendalough Round Tower, built of mica slate interspersed with granite, is about 30 meters or 98 feet high, with an entrance 3.5 meters or 12 feet from the base. The conical roof was rebuilt in 1876 using the original stones. The tower originally had 6 timber floors connected by ladders. The 4 stories above the entrance level are each lit by a small window, while the top story has 4 windows facing the cardinal compass points. Round towers, landmarks for approaching visitors, were built as bell towers, but also served on occasion as storehouses and places of refuge in times of attack. The Kilmacduagh Round Tower is located in the Kilmacduagh Monastery ruined abbey near the town of Gort in County Galway, Ireland. The Round Tower is notable both as a fine example of this particular Irish structure and also because of its noticeable lean, over 0.5 meter from vertical. The tower is over 30 meters or 98 feet tall according to measurements taken in 1879, with the only doorway some 7 meters or 23 feet above ground level. The tower probably dates from the 10th century. The Kilmacduagh Round Tower was at one time the tallest pre-modern structure in Ireland. The TURLOUGH Round Tower, an unusual low and squat round tower, was constructed in the 9th century on an early monastic site that was possibly founded in AD 441 by St. Patrick. The TURLOUGH Round Tower is relatively low at 23 meters or 75 feet tall and wide with a rounded headed doorway and 4 square-headed windows. It has a round-headed doorway 4 meters or 13 feet above ground level. The purpose of the round towers has been somewhat unclear until recent times. A popular hypothesis in the past was that the towers were originally a defensive structure to protect the monks against raiders such as the Vikings. If a lookout posted in the tower spotted a Viking force, the local population, or at least the clerics, would enter, using a ladder that could then be raised from within. The towers would be used also to store religious relics and other valuable items to protect them from being plundered by the Viking raiders as well. High crosses from the 8th through the 10th centuries are freestanding, richly decorated Christian crosses made of stone. There was a unique early medieval tradition in Ireland and Britain of erecting large, sculpted stone crosses, usually outdoors. Their relief decoration includes a mixture of religious figures and sections of decorations such as Celtic knotwork. The earlier crosses were typically up to about 2 meters or 8 feet high, but in Ireland examples up to 3 times higher appear later, retaining thick, massive proportions, giving large surface areas for carving. The crosses often, though not always, feature a stone ring around the intersection, forming a Celtic cross, which seems clearly an innovation of Celtic Christianity. Some crosses were erected just outside churches and monasteries, while others at sites that may have marked boundaries or crossroads. The earliest surviving stone high crosses in Ireland are in County Donegal, erected by missionaries from Iona fleeing Viking raiders. Most Irish high crosses have the distinctive shape of the ringed Celtic cross. They are generally larger and more massive and feature more figure decorations than those elsewhere. The ring initially served to strengthen the head and the arms of the high cross, but it soon became a decorative feature as well. The high crosses were status symbols either for a monastery or for a sponsor or patron, and possibly as preaching crosses. The earliest 8th or 9th century Irish crosses had only ornament carvings, including interlace and Celtic knots. However, from the 9th and 10th century, figure images appear, sometimes just as a figure of Christ crucified in the center. In the larger 10th century examples, large numbers of figures were carved over much of the surface. Some late Irish examples have fewer figures approaching life-size and carved in very high relief. The Irish tradition largely died out after the 12th century, until the 19th century Celtic revival, when Celtic cross form saw a lasting revival for gravestones and memorials, usually just using ornamental decoration and inscriptions.